Hi, I'm Dr. Ginevra. Welcome to day 19 in 30 days of my Fibro life. For those of you that have been following my journey here, you might know that I recently finished a kind of 5-week experiment with the keto diet. And as I've come off that, I've actually kind of been struggling to figure out like what I should be eating. And I definitely know that I need to avoid gluten because it doesn't make me feel good, and I need to limit dairy because that doesn't make me feel good. But with kind of all the restrictions that keto put on as well, I kind of have been in this place of like, wait, what can I eat? And feeling a lot of like anxiety around food. And then kind of a memory came back to me of something that I learned in medical school, not in school, but while I was in medical school. Um, where I was at this conference. I was at like a yoga retreat center, and I was there for kind of the yoga part. And there was also this other group there that was doing this like cleansing fasting protocol. And I remember one of my yoga teachers in one of the morning sessions was like, did anybody else have like people vomiting outside their door last night? And I had slept through that, but apparently as part of this cleanse, they were taking something to make them, I don't know, vomit. And what she said basically was sometimes in healing, we have to remember it's not just what we don't eat, it's what we do eat. And although that's kind of an extreme example, the cleanse fast versus like what we do eat, just kind of the way she said it, and like that, all of a sudden I was like, oh, right. Like we really do tend to focus a lot more on what we can't eat, particularly when we're learning about things like inflammation and fibromyalgia, and how, a lot of us feel better when we avoid gluten or dairy or sugar. And all those things are really important, and it is really important to avoid inflammatory foods. But I also think we need to remember, what do we need to add to our body, add as fuel, and kind of focusing on that piece as well. So for me, at least, what that means is focusing on protein and vegetables. I tend to struggle, I think, with just kind of, I don't know, laziness, or I'm not good at cooking, or salads take too much time to prepare. I tend to not eat as many fruits and vegetables as I should. And so what I've been trying to focus on in these, kind of the week and a half or so, 2 weeks, I guess, since I stopped the keto diet, is really just trying to keep up, like adding more vegetables. And then also remembering that, at least for me to feel my best, I need to eat protein, 10 to 20 grams of protein every few hours throughout the day. And as long as I kind of have focused on that in the past, few weeks, it's been easier to kind of figure out and sort of listen to my body and try to figure out what I'm wanting to eat. And, a lot of us with fibromyalgia, I think, struggle with kind of understanding or remembering what makes us feel good as far as food, because it becomes sort of this constant source of stress. And I think it can help to take a step back and think about like, well, what's happening in fibromyalgia? Well, we know that our fight or flight response is chronically overactivated. And in that fight or flight response, our body doesn't really use fuel very efficiently, because the fight or flight response is designed for you to be able to fight or flee, right? And for that, you need kind of like a rapid processing of food, kind of mobilizing all your energy stores quickly so that you can do that life-saving measures. But what we see when that happens chronically is that our body is using fuel not very efficiently. So it's like a car that gets bad gas mileage, right? Like, what can we do to kind of help extend our car to get better gas mileage, with the limitation that we know that our nervous system is kind of dialed more into the fight or flight kind of component of the nervous system. So what that really means is supporting our body with regular infusions of protein. And it might be more than you kind of think about you might need. So I ask patients to think about getting between 80 and 100 grams of protein a day. and trying to divide that up so that, every few hours they're having like 10 to 20 milligrams of protein. Trying to eat healthy fats that really fuel our mitochondria. That's kind of the furnace that burns the energy in our cells. And, kind of focusing on those two things alone can make a really big difference. And then for gut health and other things, we know that we need, fiber and nutrients from vegetables. But what I would say is think of ways that you can maybe increase our gas mileage by feeding our body a little bit more of what it wants when it's running in that fight or flight nervous system zone for the most part. So increase protein, healthy fats, try to eat those fruits and vegetables. It's a work in progress, but I will say over the past week when I just was like, you know what? My diet's not going to be perfect, but I'm just going to try to add those few things in, more protein, more fruits and vegetables, healthy fats. It's made a big difference. So I'm hoping that maybe that will help someone out there as they're kind of struggling to figure out. And it brings me to the topic of the Fibro food formula, where I go more in depth with the help of a nutritionist friend in kind of trying to have like a realistic way to approach how to make dietary changes with fibromyalgia. So adding foods that are better, reducing ones that are worse for you, with some real life practical advice. So it's available on Amazon, but you can also get it if you sign up for my email newsletter at drginevra.com. I will put information in the description as well. You can get it as a free ebook download for subscribing. So with that, I will say see you tomorrow and stay fierce.